Hey guys, good evening everyone. Good evening everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today. Please kindly comment where you are streaming from in the comments below. Let me know where you are streaming from in the comments below. Let me know where you are streaming from. Let me know where you are streaming from. So I'm super excited to have you today. And in today's session, we want to look at beyond crypto trading, acquiring skills beyond just trading cryptocurrencies. So we have a couple of crypto traders out there that don't have any other thing they are doing. And if you ask them, what are you doing? They will say, I'm a crypto trader. So this session is basically for um, letting you know that you need just more than trading cryptocurrencies, right? You need to have yourself engaged with other things because the financial market is not um, something that is actually going to be giving you a reasonable amount of money like consistently, right? So that is why you need to back it up with possibly two skills or thereabouts. So yes, I'd like to know where you are streaming from. Kindly comment where you are streaming from in the comments below and hit on the share button, copy the link to this stream and share it across social media platforms and invite your friends to come and learn. Yes, and do well to get your writing materials ready. If you check our flyer, you are going to see that bringing you a seasoned a facilitator, right? Who is going to help us. Um, who is going to help us? Okay, thank you so much, Nsikanabas. Nsikanabas is streaming from you. So you are going to learn a whole lot from our guest speaker today, and it's not something you should joke with. Just get your writing materials ready and make sure that you write every single thing so that after leaving this place, you can always refer to it and get to put in the work. So thank you, Nsika Nabasi, for joining us. Please, for those who are yet to drop where they are streaming from, please kindly do that. So my name is Emmanuel Jacobz, and I'm going to be your host today. Then I have a guest speaker which I'm going to bring to the screen in the next few seconds. So like I said earlier, please, I want you to be prepared to get value, get your writing materials, and make sure that nothing is distracting you, right? You can, if you have a Wi-Fi, maybe you can put your phone in airplane mode or possibly put it on focus mode so that not even calls will interact or sorry will distract your attention. Right. So good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, good evening, boss. How's it going?
I'm
Good
good,
evening.
sir. So, sir, I'd like you to give us a brief introduction about yourself and
Okay. All right. So my name is Samuel Joseph. Yeah, Samuel Joseph. I'm a mobile developer, UI UX. I was once a marketer, right? And I think marketing was what I was doing, and of course trading, right? That's what I was doing for many years until I had a discussion with somebody, and that was like several years ago, and that changed my mindset. But today I do many things, but I'm quite focused in a few, right? Sports, and that's like a brief about me so far. Yeah.
all right, thank you so much for that. So, guys, as you can see, yes, he's a seasoned crypto expert, and yes, he's very good in trading, and he has a couple of other skills, and actually, is the perfect person who can handle this particular topic, right? Beyond crypto trading, right? Acquiring skills beyond just trading crypto. So it's actually the right person for this topic. So that is why you don't need to trivialize this particular session, right? So, like I said earlier, get your writing materials ready as he's about to dish out value. All right, sir. So over to you, sir.
Okay, what am I talking about right now? What's the question?
Okay. Okay. This session is basically you telling us crypto traders, right?
Mm,
Okay. As a crypto trader, you don't need to depend on just trading
yeah,
cryptocurrencies.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess I will talk about that and also give some personal examples. Right. I think that will go a long way. Right. So I've been trading cryptocurrencies for a long time. Right. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've seen the ugly of trading. Right. I think I was talking to somebody recently. That was like 2 days ago. Telling the person about my last experience with of course, okay, I can mention the name of the platform, Binance. How that Binance locked my account for like 8 to 9 months, and I couldn't access my funds. And I had a couple of people I was doing businesses with, and if not for the fact that I had other things I was doing, it would have been really really terrible. Yeah. So just like you mentioned earlier, there are traders out there. Most especially the new traders who thinks uh, it should be just about trading. Even those companies and those individuals that are into trading, right? Most of them will not tell you, but they have got a couple of other things they do. All right. So let's take a very good example. It's a company called BlackRock. You must have heard of BlackRock. See how big BlackRock is. They don't just have one source of income; they have other things they're doing as well. Right. So recently, I saw in news. I think it was yesterday. I saw the news how that BlackRock, as big as they are, in case you don't know about BlackRock, you can do a simple Google search. As big as they are, they just invested into crypto mining. And they didn't just invest into one crypto mining company, they invested into the top five. How that news is verified, but that was the news that came out yesterday. Right. So as a trader, it's important to trade, right? And of course, this goes out to most especially the new traders, right? Where your capital is not much, and that is the point where you get bullied by investors. They will tell you, I have this 10 million naira, I need 20% in a month consistently back to back. And you'll be at that point where you really need this capital. And the percentage they're asking for is possible, but it's not possible for it to be consistent. And then you will forced to want to bend your knees to say yes to what you're saying. And getting yourself committed and then running into issues, because the truth about any kind of business you're doing, whether it's trading or any kind of business, there are always cycles. It's a law that cannot be broken no matter who you are. There'll always be a planting season, there'll always be an harvesting season. And as a trader, you can't expect to be harvesting every month back to back. You just want constant profit back to back. It's possible. It's almost impossible. Let me just be honest. It's almost impossible to be consistently profitable month to month, back to back. And of course, I'm speaking from experience. You see, if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki and also listen to someone like Warren Buffett, of course, his popular saying, he said, be greedy when others are selfish, and be selfish when others are greedy. That simply means when others are greedy, buying, making profits, during the bull run, that is when you're not even supposed to even trade. That's when you're supposed to be cashing out, right? And then you are only supposed to invest, which is planned, when things are bad, when it's crashing, right? So trading is good. Trading is profitable. I'm not saying that because it's not profitable. I still trade it today. The only time I stopped trading was, I think, sometime last year. Yeah, last year. I didn't trade for like 10 months. I mentioned earlier that I got my account locked by Binance, if not for a friend of mine called Babs that helped me to unlock the account. So it was really messy. Right. So I guess I'll give more examples right in the future, but as a trader, of course, you can expect to be profitable back to back. You know, else there will be no planting season and harvesting season end, and it's a law that can be broken. There will always be a season to plant. There will always be a season to harvest. It's a law that cuts across everything, whether it's investment, everything you're doing. Right. So, yep. Hope our host is still here, and I'm still live. Is he?
Yes, I'm still here and you are still live, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right then. Yeah, so I think that is that. For a start, pending when the next question comes up. Yeah, you're muted because I saw your
Sorry.
mouth move. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what other skills should crypto traders engage? I know we have a couple of skills out there.
Mhm.
What other skills do you think crypto traders should have themselves engaged with to help them probably be sought after by maybe people that need their skills or
Mm.
something that can help them
Yeah.
merge both crypto trading and the skill together?
Okay. Yeah. That's very perfect. So, let me give a personal story before I get into that. So, you know, on the bull run, when we had the bull run, that was like, is it 2 years ago? Or so when Bitcoin was going from 40 something k to $64,000 thereabouts. So I met someone that's into real estate. I was in Dubai then, so I met someone that was into real estate, and then we got talking, and then he said something one day, and that I met several people, but this particular guy, he said when it comes to real estate, that the way he makes his money is quite different. What he does is he pushed for more of selling a property than renting, right? And I was like, why? And then he said, if he sells one property, the profits from that one sale is enough to take care of him for 6 to 8 months. And then he also said that in a year, he only strives to sell just four properties. Two property sales is enough for him. Two property sales. But if he does four, that's enough money, for him for like 2 years. But most times he gets more of rentals, and that is okay. And then, while we're talking, few weeks later, he introduced me to one other guy. And then one talk led to another. And, I was telling him how that I've experienced a bear market. And that was like, I think that was in 2018. Yeah, that was in 2018 also. 2018, 2017, thereabout. And so this guy who is a web developer, is a programmer, is actually a full stack developer. And he told me how that when he started, he was just a front end developer. And then there was a certain time when the tech market was really really bad, and front end developers were just everywhere, because they sacked a lot of people, and then back end was just scanting. And then for that reason, he decided to start learning some other skills. And then he noticed that when the more skills he learned, the more it was easier for him to get jobs. Hmm. And then he started, learning other. And then he actually became a full stack developer. And then I met a friend. I was traveling from Lagos to Abuja one day, and then I met a friend. He works in one of these oil companies. So he was sitting in business class, and I was sitting in economy. And then midway on the flight, and so the one of the air hostess reached out to me and said, "There's someone in there. There's someone in front there that wants to meet with you. He said you should come to the business class." So cut the story short, I got there, and I think that was my first time in business class. It was really good. It was really really cool, right? The treatment way different, right? So we got talking, and to cut the whole story short, he told me how he started, how he has been in the oil business, the in oil industry for about 20 years plus. And the reason why he called me was because he has been investing into so many things, and he wanted to see how he could take advantage of crypto and blockchain. So one thing led to another. We got talking, and then after the call, no, after the chat with him on the flights, we finally met, some other place, and then this guy happened to introduce me to all of his businesses. This guy has, as at when we spoke, he had 7 streams of income, not 7 streams of income that gives him 6 figures monthly. Each of those streams of income, or each of those channels of income, gives him at least one, no, income that is into 6 figures. You know, after my call with him, no, after my chat with him that day, the physical meeting, I went back home and sat and I thought about my life. I was like, okay, what do you do, that gives you money? Yeah, I'll still talk about, there are stages, there are some stages you need to get to. In fact, let me just say it now. Yeah, so sometimes when people hear things like this, when they hear, this guy has three streams of income, this guy has 7, at the start they want to start 7 streams of income at once. No, it's not that way. So he actually gave me a brief. Some businesses that he was doing started 2 years after the other one must have stabilized. Some of them started like 3 years later, right? And I didn't feel too bad, because obviously, son of grace, somewhere from Togo. Okay, hope I'm not the somewhere from Togo that is there. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can see somewhere from Togo there, but it's fine. So, I didn't feel too bad, because obviously this guy has been in the working industry for 20 years and I was just starting. One of the mistakes we make as young people is, we see someone that is living a flashy life, living the kind of life we want to live, and then we want to achieve that result they're having at that time, but you don't know how long it took them. You don't know how many fails they had. And I'm going to let you in on some major money this guy lost. The thing about successful people, when you see them, is they don't tend to, of course, no one does that. You see, no one does that. They don't tend to tell you their downsides. They don't tend to tell you the down moments they've had, right? And which I wish, of course, which I will let you guys in on that. So okay, let's even take a popular example, Elon Musk. I was watching a video last year, how that Elon Musk lost millions of dollars when he was trying to set up his rocket. Go online, you see. He will launch this one, it will fall, then he will lose millions of dollars. He will launch. If it happened once, would have said okay. If it happened twice, would have said okay. If it was 3 times, would have said okay. Several times, more than 5 times. That was enough to give up. But he kept pushing on until he got it. And today he's the richest man in the world. Right. So a lot of people you see out there, not all of them will come out and tell you plain, this is what I'm doing. Some of them they can tell you this is what I'm this and this and this and this is what I'm doing. But there's no successful person out there. There's a world class billionaire that I know that has just one source of income. It is not possible. There is none. Even if they have just one source of income, that source of income or that channel will have several streams inside. Let's take an example. Amazon, right? Jeff Bezos. I think that's how to pronounce his name, right? So he has Amazon. Now you might think Amazon is just a place, just one stream. It's not just one stream. They are selling many things in there, and they have many people that are selling many things inside Amazon. And it's not just in Amazon. There's Prime. There's Amazon Prime, right? So which is a competitor to Netflix, right? So he has so many other things he's invested into. But let's come back home. Let's look at our one and only Dangote. Most of you might not like him, right? So Dangote is not just doing one thing. He has Dangote sugar. He has this. He has that. Right? He has cement. He's going into oil business now, refinery. And then you, as a trader, just want to have one source of income. Who do you think you are? Anyways, I'm not trying to talk anybody down, but The truth is, you can't have all sorts of income. In fact, even the God that made us, if even God that made us, you know, he had he had several options of food for us to eat. He would have just said, okay, you know, the olet is there, eat only cassava, or eat only agbado. He made beans available, he made corn available, he made yam available, different form of starch, he made different form of protein. We have plantain, we have beans, egg, these different things, you see, and you just want to have one source of income. It's almost impossible, and it's one way to get yourself bonds, right? I was talking about someone I met in Dubai as well. I met a trader, and that's good. Let me talk about this. So I really learned the when I started trading, in Nigeria, I was just doing it anyhow, the normal way people were doing it. So going to Dubai really gave me exposure, and I saw how traders are supposed to be doing the trading business. That really changed my mindset. I'm going to tell you what I experienced. So I met this very big trader, and this guy told me that sometimes in a month he places just one trade, just one. And then he said sometimes in a year he just needs to place just 3 to 5 trades. And of course, don't start doing what he's doing, right? Because you don't know the capital he's using. And then I kept asking, and then he said he's the least capital he has ever traded with. As at when I was having this conversation with this guy, I think, okay, let me not mention that. Anyways, so the least capital he has ever traded with, or not ever traded, he was trading with at that time. The least he had like 3 accounts. The least had $1 million. The least has $1 million. And what he was just working to get in a whole year, his target in a whole year was 15%. That's he has 2 targets. So there's the upper target and there's the lower target. His upper target is 15% in a whole year. That is that 15% now. Whenever he makes 50% in a year, they're going to give him a brand new car. And then his lower target is 10%. And then one talk less on another. And I happen to know where he gets the money from. So there's this Dubai. If you've ever been to Dubai, there are a lot of Indians in Dubai, a lot of Indians and Pakistanis or whatever they call them. But so he's an Indian guy, and he gets real estate in India gives about 7% per annum. That's in and that's the best you can see, 7% per annum. And of course, the usual banks don't give nice returns in a year, not even up to 2%. In fact, if the banks give you 2% in a year, they're going to take back 2.5%, plus charges and all. So what he was doing, because he was well connected, right? So he was able to pull out, you know, money from those investors in India, and then he promised to give them guaranteed 5% in a year. Guaranteed 5% in a year. And now remember, there's no bank that can give you 5% in a year. So guaranteed 5% in a year, and his own company's benchmark is to make them 10% extra. That makes it 15%. So you understand. And worst case 5%. So imagine doing 5% on $1 million, bro. And when I got talking to him, and I remembered my early days of trading, right? Sorry, I just got a message distracted me. And when I got talking with him, and I remembered what I was doing during my early days of trading, and how investors used to bully me to give that 5-10%. But there was one lady, I'm not mentioning her name, but if you know, okay, let me not mention. Okay. Anyways, there was one lady that offered me 20 million. That should be like 2 years ago, and wanted 30% per annum. Sorry, 30% in a month. And in fact, this lady so talked me down. I felt useless, because she was like, there are other people doing it. You can do it. Why you? And he was just trying to talk me down so that I accept the offer. But what I'm trying to make is that, why I was having this conversation with this guy. And I remembered some traders that I know that were giving investors 10% in a month in Nigeria. And then that particular day, I had to call from Dubai. I called some traders I know. I said, this thing you're doing in Nigeria, that investors are bullying you to do 10%. You're doing maybe out of 10 months in a month, after 10 months in a year, you will do 10% for 6 months, and then the other 4 months you'll not be able to pay back because market is not giving you profit. Do you know you're doing excessively too much? You say, so why am I saying all that? Right. So after talking, I said I'm saying that to say this: if you're a trader and that is what you've been doing, right, you're doing exceptionally well because there are companies out there in the world, right? As a trader, you can trade and then you make 5%, and then you look at your capital. Your capital is really maybe small, like $100, and then you're making 5%, and your 5% is very small. It's not even enough to take care of. See, you're doing exceptionally well if you can do 5% in a month. You're doing too good. Just that you feel bad because your capital is small and then the returns is small on your capital. But if you go out there and you can do 5% in a month, bro, you're made for life. Do your research after, maybe as we're talking, or maybe you can go online, do your research, ask, check how much hedge fund companies are doing outside the country. Maximum you see. There's a company in Burj Khalifa, AIX. Yeah, that's the name. I don't hope you guys can see me because I've left the screen. Go online and search AIX Global. AIX Global. Yeah, I think their company is still live. AIX Global. No. Anyways, is that AIX investment? Oh, hope you guys can see me. Yeah, please. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, sir, we can see
Hello.
you. We
Right?
can see you.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. So those go online and search for AIX investment. So how did I get to know about AIX investment? So if you go to their website, it's a company in Dubai. I met with them in Dubai when I was in Dubai and I was trading. So you know, I met with them and then they said that they had about, as at then they had about $50 million, and they watched my videos and then they saw that some month I used to do 20% a month, 30% a month, and then uh they said they give their investors, even up until now, they still do that. They give their investor maximum of 30% per annum. And this was an amount I used to make like in 2 months. Right. So I'm saying that to say this, right? If you're a trader, right now you're listening to me, and then you're doing 5% and you're feeling bad that you're useless, you don't know how to trade, bro, you're doing excessively good, right? And it won't look good because your capital is small, but just consistently be doing what you're doing, and you grow from there, right? So, but why you shouldn't feel bad on yourself is, the reason why you're feeling bad is because trading is everything you're doing, and that's part of the reason why we're having this. Because trading is the only thing you're doing, and your capital is not big enough. Hence, you're feeling depressed. So hence, you're feeling useless. Like maybe you don't really have these skills, or maybe you need to get more accurate signals. It's not a signal, right? It's not a signal. So in order to reduce that pressure, right, and make you even focus, you need to have other skills, and that is not the truth. So that's why I started by hinting you about other billionaires in the world, what they do, right? So they have other businesses that are doing as well. So I'll give a personal example. Let me end this with my own personal example, right? So before I started crypto, I used to do so many things, right? So people used to call me Sam Six. Some people used to call me Sam Six, and how I got that name was in when I was in secondary school. When I was when I was in secondary school, because I didn't grow up with my parents, right? So just in case, I didn't grow up with my parents. My major source of income when I was in secondary school was through instruments. Yes, I used to. This church will call me. Hey, we have a special service. We're inviting our GO over to our chapter, right? So we need a keyboardist. I will go because I can play keyboard, I can play drum, I can play bass guitar. But I'm not good
Wow.
with the bass guitar, but I can play keyboard and drum very well, right? I think the most popular person I've played keyboard for is Pastor Chris. Yeah, Pastor Chris Yakulun. I've played keyboard for him twice, right? So, back then in secondary school, that's how I got the name Sam Six, because people knew me for drum more than keyboard, right? Because I prefer drum because I could drum when there was no light, but you cannot play keyboard when there's no light. You know what I'm saying? So that was my major source of income. I was a drummer. Even up until like even when I got into University of Uyo, right? I still used to go to some churches and play and get money until one day I had to stop it, for some personal reasons. I said to myself, I know how to play musical instruments. Maybe that should be my only service to God, right? But even when I got into crypto, right, I didn't just stop there, right? I'm trying to give you my get into my own personal experience. So that period, I mentioned earlier that Binance locked my account for 9 months, which really got me into many issues with some people when they locked my account for a very long time. So that period, what saved me and what really helped me that period was other things I was doing. You know, there's this saying that if you hang out with smart people, with five smart people, you'll be the sixth smart person. So when I was in Dubai, I mentioned that I met with a real estate guy. So after talking with him, I fell in love with real estate as well. So I started doing real estate right after then. This year alone, this year alone, I think I've sold property worth 20 million naira, not dollars. 20 million
Wow.
naira. And I got commission on that, right? And I think it was last year because I already had background in tech. Last year, I was talking to a friend of mine. His name is Mike B. So you might know him. I was like, because I also remember I mentioned that I met a tech guy in Dubai as well. Of course, I didn't say everything we talked about, but some of the things we spoke about, and one of the things I enjoyed about what he said to me was, you know, as a tech bro, right? He could do several jobs at the same time, right? And most of these jobs were just very similar. Someone wake up and say, okay, I need you to build me a crypto wallet, right? Now, if you build a crypto wallet for company A and company B needs crypto wallet, it's still the same crypto wallet. It's still the same app. You actually do the same thing. The only difference will just be maybe changing of the colors and what was here on this app, particular app could be here, right? That's just measured, but it's just the same knowledge that you need, right? And of course it was being paid. So I fell in love with it, and of course I started learning how to build mobile apps. No, I started from design. I started designing a mobile apps because part of the reasons why I decided to do that was because of course I it's one thing to be true to yourself. It's one thing to be true to yourself because what the mistake some people make is they are not true to themselves. One day when I told somebody, because in trading, you lose money sometimes, you make money sometimes. I was telling the person how much I lost one setting here like that. I think that was I can't remember the day. That should be like 4 years ago. An amount of money I lost. Then the guy was like, "Wait, you're still alive?" And I told the person that see, wherever I am today is billions of years better than where I was. Back then, when I was in secondary school, I said I used to go from church to church. Hey, Alpha, do you guys need the keyboardists? And for those of you that have known me for more than 15 years, you should know that I used to sell boxers and shirts in Uniport. This was in 2008. In 2007, 2008, I used to sell boxers and shirts in University of Port Harcourt. Boxers and shirts. Yes, me. Right. And then 2010, I started renting projector. Right. If you need proof that I used to go from street to street to rent projector. If you need proof, just go online, search the phone number. You'll see. You'll see the news there. Right. So I got talking with this guy and I said, okay, I'm going to learn tech, right? Because I like what my friend is doing, and it's really motivating. I like the fact that I could sit down, imagine something, and then build it. So I love the idea. And another reason, let me say this, another reason why I decided to go into tech as well is because whether I like it or not, the future is scary, bro. I'm not like to you. The future is very scary. I do a lot of research. I do research, but there's no day I don't learn something new. And it's really scary how AI is taking jobs from people. You might not see the effect now. One day I went to the bank. No, no, I went to the bank one day, and I was looking at one cashier that I know. I've known him for years. Then I asked him a question. I said, "Do you know about CBDC?" This guy's answer was no, and I felt really bad. The reason why I felt really bad is because a lot of people don't know what's coming. A lot of people don't know what's coming, and this is another reason why I went into tech. A lot of people don't know what's coming. Whether you're a crypto trader or not, there are so many jobs that will be obsolete in the next 5 to 10 years. Most especially those working in the banking industry. And if you're a banker, you're listening to me, please pay attention. See, see Binance as an example. Binance controls billions of dollars, but they don't have an office in Nigeria. There are millions of people that are using Binance in Nigeria, but Binance don't have an office in Nigeria. And what Binance is doing, whether I like it or not, is banking. Because you can deposit money, you can withdraw money. Hello. Isn't that the same thing GT Bank is doing? What does that tell you? That tells you that in the next 4 years, 90% of those bankers will lose their job. Yep. So let's say you're a trader. Your source of income is trading, right? Or your OTC. Good. I do OTC as well. And if you're doing OTC, don't feel bad. Just learn, right? It's also last year, early this year before I traveled to Mauritius. I was having a talk with a crypto friend of mine. His major source of income was OTC. It's still OTC, like 80% is OTC. Then I told him, I said, see, OTC is good. You're making up to 6 figures in a month from OTC. Fine, it's good. But it's not going to be there forever. A time will come when you cannot make money from OTC. Because the reason why OTC is flourishing right now is because of the pro banking regulation with crypto. By the time government around the world, which has already started, when government starts coming into crypto, see, for the singular reason that BlackRock has already started coming to crypto, that is the only confidence that I have that your banks in Nigeria and the banks around the world will still start sending you mails telling you you can store your cryptocurrency in the bank. It will happen. And by the time it happens, you can sell your crypto with one click of a button. You can. So that means as an OTC trader, your days are numbered. Start learning all that thing. So I had a call. He's a very close friend of mine. This guy, in fact, we're almost brothers now. Small thing, I remain. I think that's small thing I because I love my mother born now. You understand? So I had to tell him, I said, good, good. You're doing up to 6 figures in a month from OTC. Yeah, yeah, it's fine, but it's not going to be here forever. A time will come when OTC will not give you up to 200,000 naira a month. Because those people that are selling to you will be incentivized by their banks to sell to their banks instead of you. And we are in the period of post office before email. Before email came into being. There was a time when those that were working in post office, they were like the pilots. Yes, they were like the pilots of today. If you want to travel to America or to any other country, you cannot travel without a pilot. You will need a pilot too. So in those days, you cannot send messages without someone that works in the post office. So they were like those working in the airport today. You see, but some of them did not learn when the internet came. Some of them thought internet. In fact, if you go online, there are so many publications that are still online that is backdated that still tells you how many people call internet a failure that it will not work. But guess what? Every person who did not take advantage of the internet back then, they lost their job. When was the last time you wrote a mail? Sat down, wrote a letter and put stamp. You don't do that anymore. Even right now, see, I'm sure someone is going to watch this video from outside the country. Not without post office. That's what technology is doing. So as a trader, a time will come when if your major source of income was, uh, to get money from people to trade, people might not need to send you money again. Look at what AI is doing. Right now, AI can do almost everything. Almost. Right. So the future is scary. The future is scary. I was also talking to a friend of mine that is a writer. And also I was talking to another friend. I think she has done several advertisements for several voiceovers for MTN, right? Do you know with AI right now, you can actually create a full commercial video and just spend maximum of $50. Before now, several years ago, to create a commercial video for a product, you first of all need to get a model, you bargain with the model, you get a lawyer, you pay the lawyer to sign a contract with the model, you also pay the lawyer to sign to create a contract, you now pay a video company to do editing, and you now pay for a location. All those things are almost getting away. You see, so that is another reason why I personally went into tech, because just in case you know, I'm a marketer. I've been marketing several crypto projects over the years, and marketing is just someone, or yourself, giving instructions, or putting list of steps of what to do in order to sell a product, right? And that's what I've been doing for years, and that's what I still do full time. You know what I'm saying? But those set of steps can actually be done by AI. You can tell AI, which I've seen one example, one already, which I'll not mention. Right. So you can tell the AI, okay, I'm employing, just in case you're not aware, you can actually employ AI nowadays. Okay, tell the AI, okay, we are into this, right? And these are the products we have, right? Come up with a content marketing plan, come up with a social marketing plan, right? And make the post, create videos. AI can do that nowadays. In fact, you can run a full marketing company as one man just with AI. So this call today, it shouldn't just be about traders. Maybe what you're doing. You're a content marketer. You're a graphic designer. You're you know whatever you're doing, bro. AI is challenging the status quo, right? And here's the sad truth. Here's the sad truth, bro. Listen to me. Here's the sad truth. Your employers don't care. They don't care. See, the only time they will care about you is if what you're doing it from your heart. Right? You're not just doing it. You see, there are two types of staff you can have in the company: those who are just working because the contract says so, and those who are passionate about the job. Those who are working just because the contract says so. If the contract says, okay, I'm supposed to resume by 9 a.m. and I close by 5 p.m., any message you send them after then, it's you're talking to yourself. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. There is absolutely wrong with it. No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But guess what, bro? When that company wants to drop people, you will be the first person on the list. Not because they are wicked. See, companies out there, they are there to make profits, because the space is very competitive. It's very competitive. It's either you're making it or someone else is killing you. I've 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 been in a project where I'm telling you something that happened in real life, where a competitor, this was early days of crypto, a competitor will actually pay people to create fraud for those that are competing with them. You see, so just in case you're out there and you're not a trader and you're listening, it cuts across every place, because when AI start taking jobs and the companies see what happened, was it last year or last 2 years, where we saw this company, they dropped 10,000 staff, this one dropped 20,000, this one dropped 5,000. You think they're not aware? By the time they drop you, your source of income has cut. They're aware. They don't care. And not because even they don't care, right? You don't know what they've gone through, right? And these guys want to make money. The goal of every business is to make money, not to look at your face, right? So when those tough time comes, right, the people that they will drop are those who are always very strict with their working condition. You pay me to work 9 to 5, and you're sending me to something to do by 5:30. I'm not doing it, right? Sad to tell you, you'll be the first person to drop, right? And I'm not saying that you should always overwork yourself. But the point I'm trying to make is this: whatever you're doing, whether you're a strict staff where you just pay attention to the working hours, or you're not, it's suicide. It is financial suicide to have all sorts of income. It is financial suicide, right? In fact, I was talking to one of our crypto OGs. His name is Emeka. I can mention his name. There are several Emekas, if I don't know the particular one I'm talking about. I was with him in Lagos, and one talk led to another. And then he told me how that last year He was in Jos. In fact, the last time he went to Jos was last year. And the reason why he hasn't gone to Jos back was because he was able to find somebody to handle his business. I got interested. I was like, okay, business. What business is that? The business that will be in Jos. I found out that this guy was into farming, not just small farming. I think according to him, it was like up to 5 acres of
Wow.
farmland, and you're depending on only crypto, bro. That is financial suicide. Check if you do your study, your study very well for crypto OGs in Nigeria. Most of them, their main source of income, crypto might be what they are fronting, but they're doing other things. Now, permit me to use Chris Annie as an example. Chris Annie trades, but do you think his major source of income is from trading? Hmm. That's Daba School. Is Daba School about crypto? Yes, they talk about crypto, but it's not just about crypto. That's him, branching into other things. Right. So, in summary, it's financial suicide to have a source of income. Like I mentioned, a personal example. When Binance blocks my account for 8 months, imagine I didn't have other stuff I was doing. But the really, really terrible. All right, I guess I've said enough about that. But of course, just in case, let me just end with this. Just in case, what I do right now. Okay, let me just end with this. I started tech, and I've mentioned why I went into tech. Sure. Just in case you're just joining, I went into tech because the future is more technical. The future will be more for the technical people because AI is taking a lot of jobs. That is the truth, whether I like it or not, the truth. Except, and I'm always true to myself. I know where I'm coming from. I don't see poverty. All right. So, and I want to make sure that future I'm a part of it. So that's one reason. And of course, I started with UI UX. Right. So I did lots of designs, and I think I did UI UX for like 3 to 4 months, and then I got bored. Right. So reason why I got bored with UI UX. Now don't feel bad if you're doing UI UX. Everybody has their place. Okay. Don't feel bad if you're doing UI UX. But reason why I got bored with UI UX is because I will do a design and then I'll post it, and then someone will ask me, "What does this app do?" And I'll say nothing. It's just a design. And then the next thing I'll see is, oh. And then one day I said to myself, Okay, what's the point of designing? This designing is like dreaming, but can I feel what I'm dreaming? So I was asking myself, okay, what's the easiest way I can bring my design to life? So that I started learning Flutter Flow. So there's something called Flutter Flow, right, where you can design an app and then build it without need for code. You don't even need to learn how to code. So it's something you can easily learn just in case you want. And if you want, I can teach you as well. Of course, you have to reach out to our boss here, Oga Jacob, and then he'll let you know. Try learning Flutter Flow. I think I built 1 or 2 apps with Flutter Flow. So Flutter Flow is a platform that lets you build app. You can build any type of app, almost any type of app application, right? Without code. You don't need to learn how to code. And then, after building several apps with Flutter Flow, I said to myself, I think there can be more. Then I started learning the real Flutter, coding for mobile app itself. So I think I built about 8 different apps already. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying it to please anybody. I built about several eight different apps already. And then I started coding mobile apps with Flutter. And then I got bored with Flutter along the way because the I found out that there are basically 2 ways to build mobile application. So, and it was Flutter and React Native. And according to my research, which I hope I'm wrong, but if you can do, many people say the same thing. According to my research, there were more React Native jobs out there than Flutter. Someone will contact me and said, "Okay, we're working on an app, right? And then we noticed you build apps as well. Can you join us?" And then the next thing I'll hear, they are using React Native, and this one React Native. It's only like few people that were using Flutter. Then I said to myself, okay, since they are basically, I said to myself, now this is my personal decision. You mustn't do the same, okay? You can choose to just be perfect with one, right? That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I said to myself, I don't want to ever be in that position where an opportunity will pass me by just because I know only React Native, or an opportunity will pass me by just because I know Flutter. So I started to learn about React Native, and I noticed that it's really not that difficult. I've only built just one app with React Native, so I'm just being transparent. Just one app with React Native, and then to cut it out, I think this is where I am right now. So one day, someone contacted me and said, we are building this project, and we have this X amount, for a web developer. Is this something you do as well? And I said no, but I felt bad because I said no. So after the call, I started, I already had a background about, background about, web development. I got angry. I was, this very holy hunger. I said, no, nonsense. I just I took out about 10 hours in total, not just one day, I spread it to several days. But I know it was up for like 10 hours. And then I was able to brush myself through and I started learning, and I learned to React. So I was able to build an app. Okay, let me see if I can even drop something I built. I'll just drop it in the comment section. You can check it out. I was able to build a personal. I might now don't get me wrong. I might end up not even using this skill, right? But I was just learning it for two reasons. Right, while I was learning, number one, it might be useful to me in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Because the truth is, if you have a company, right, or maybe you met this very big millionaire, right, and then he wants to employ somebody and pay the person maybe $100,000 in a year. Now, put yourself in his shoes. Would you rather hire someone that has a bit of knowledge of many things, or hire someone that knows just one thing? It's, the answer is totally left to you. But I started to learn it because it might be useful to me in the future. Because the future, like I said, the future is more technical. The future belongs to those who know more about tech. Right? Whether you're building it yourself or you happen to have fundamental knowledge about it, right? That's number one reason. And then the second reason, right? This will be the first time I'm saying it publicly. The second reason why I'm learning, why I choose to learn tech, apart from I already stated the obvious, right, which is to have other sorts of income. The second reason why I choose to learn tech because I have three boys, I have three kids, right, and I want to be the one to teach them what the future holds, right. By my goal is that by age 3 to 4, my son should have learned the basics about most of tech, right. Before he gets to 10 years old, that's if this war doesn't end in 10 years, my son should be able to build a complete website all on his own, front end and back end. Right. So I don't want to because I know what it was like for me growing up, where I had my dad was never there and my mom was not educated. So my mom never went to she usually went to primary school. So right. So I didn't have someone I could ask, all those promising questions, right? Because my dad was never there, like I mentioned, and my mom was really good at school. So I want to be the one to show them the path, not just tell them, you see that guy over there, that guy knows about tech. And you can see the world today is about tech. So AI is taking advantage of everything. So go and meet that guy there to tell them about tech. Who knows, the guy might be nice, but why would I leave them to go to someone who might be nice or not be nice to them? I know I'll be nice to them. So I tried to learn the whole thing myself. So right now I can build mobile apps, whether it's React Native or Flutter. I can build a website. I can build a complete homepage. I'm not kidding you. If you want to test, no problem. Come to my DM. I can build a complete homepage website, depending on how technical it is also. Right. In 24 hours, I can. Right. I'm not saying that to leave anybody. In 24 hours. Is that your inverter that is making a noise?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay. All right. So yeah, those are the two reasons. So the final reason, like I said, is because I want to be the one to show my kids the right path. Show them myself, not depending on a third party to tell them what to do. Okay, Q&A session.
All right, sir, that is super amazing. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, this is time for question and answers. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment box. So I want to start with this question. I know you are into a whole lot of stuffs, and You are extremely knowledgeable. So I want to ask, how do you manage, like, to be able to, I don't know if I should say split yourself to do this and that. How do you manage
Okay.
all these things and still have time to learn and all that?
Okay. So I had to make a sacrifice. And whenever I mention sacrifice, I remember
Can I?
what, what, kind of yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had to make a sacrifice because um I think I made a decision either last year or last 2 years. Before then, about 4 or 5 years ago, you will see me in almost every event. There is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you go for every event, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody, different people have different goals, different people have different objectives. But for the fact that someone chooses to do one particular thing doesn't mean the other person is not doing it is foolish. Okay, so don't get me
Mm.
wrong. So, but personally, several years ago, I was almost at every event. Speaking almost in I was talking in almost every group. I was in CBAN, I was here, I was there. And then when I made the decision to learn from all these things and also invest into there are some things I've also invested into, which is real estate, which I've not spoken about too much. Right. I told myself I will need to I can't be a community guy and a learning of skills guy at the same time. It was almost impossible. So guys, give me a minute, please.
Okay, guys, please kindly drop your questions in the comment box. If you have any question, drop it in the comments below. And yes, our guest speaker is going to be back in the next few seconds.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay.
So what I did was to sacrifice my presence in the community. In fact, I was in Lagos I was in Lagos last weekend, and several people. It's been long. I saw you. Where have you been? So those are sacrifices I made, and of course I have my job I'm doing. I have several businesses I'm doing. The you know it cost me a lot because, like, if not for this event we're having here, I would have been coding. So that's because I have a personal goal, right? I had a personal goal. So I know for sure the last 1 year, I spent at least approximately 3 to 5 hours a day coding for the last 1 year. So that's because I have a personal goal, right? So I had to sacrifice, going for events, going for shows, even hosting events, and just to achieve, most of this I've achieved, and some of these things that I've invested into, right, which is learning new skills. Some of the things I've learned, I've never even talked about them today, because I don't want to. All right. So some of these things are investments that I know will yield forth fruits in the next 5 years or 10 years, or it might not even be me that would reap the fruits of these things. It could be my kids. Like I mentioned, I'm learning these things so that they can learn firsthand. So yeah. So but what really helped me, what really helped me was me being able to discipline myself, because sometimes I do get invitations to go for some events. I just choose not to, not because they are playing at the events. No, those events are really important events. But the truth is, I always tell people, sometimes not all events is for you, right? Not all events is for you. And also the events you will go to depends on your goal, right? So if your goal is to be the most connected, the biggest trader ever, you need to be at every event so that you can meet big shots. So if your goal is to divert into tech that I've done, right, you don't always need to be in every tech event. If you want to be at an event, it has to be a tech event. You don't have to be crypto events rather. Right, but of course, different people have different goals. But like I mentioned when I started, I'm not trying to say those who attend events every time are wasting their time. Also, who knows? Maybe they have different goals. Maybe their goal is to get 10 investors that will invest into their business. and that is not your goal. So it might be different. So I think that's the sacrifice I made. Even right after this call, immediately this ends. According to my timer, I'm supposed to start coding from. So what I do is I spend in the evening I spend at least 2 to 3 hours with my kids. So after 2 to 3 hours, I code for another three to 4 hours before I call off the day. And then most of my Saturdays throughout the year, because I have a target to meet, a skill target to meet. I code at least 6 hours on Saturdays. Yeah, that's about it.
That's so serious. All right, sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time. I don't think we have any question. And usually, this session is usually 30 to 45 minutes, but
Mm.
this one is like
It's your
an
turn, right?
hour and 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
So
So
this
yes,
is
okay.
super amazing. I'm so much grateful, sir, for your time and the value you have given to us so far.
Thank
God
you.
bless you, sir.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the time. Thanks.
All right, guys. We have come to the end of the show, and I hope to see you next week. Please do well to subscribe and turn on post notification, and don't forget to join us next week and other subsequent days. Do have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.
Cheers. All right.